Welcome in. Belly up, have a seat, and grab a drink as we talk some Wingman fantasy football. Welcome into another edition of Wingman Fantasy Football, the League Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Furley, and as always, I'd like to thank all of you, or any of you who may be watching or listening to today's show. This is episode 66, and we are at the bar with Alex W., a.k.a. Dey Turk Ur Jarbs. And before we get any further along, let's make sure that everybody is in the room.
Wingmen Assemble!
All right, now that everyone is here, I want to wish you a happy Friday morning and an enjoyable weekend for all of our managers. And we have a packed episode this time around as we are going to check in on the player news and practice reports, go over this week's matchups, check in on the activity of our waiver wire, see who is on top of the newest power rankings, and dive into the mailbag. But first, let's set the slate for this weekend's prime time games. All right, we have several top players out this week due to bye weeks as the Chiefs, the Rams, the Dolphins, and the Eagles are all off this week. This is going to make for a very tricky game for several of our managers, and they're going to have a hard time setting quality lineups. All right, let's set the schedule for this weekend's games. As on Monday night, we have the Denver Broncos traveling to Orchard Park to take on the struggling Buffalo Bills at 8:15 p.m. On Sunday night, we have the New York Jets heading out to the desert to take on the Las Vegas Raiders, and that game is at 8:20 p.m. Sunday night. And the NFL has another game in Germany, and there will be a Saturday morning game, this time as the Indianapolis Colts will be battling the New England Patriots at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. As for the Thursday night game, we have the Carolina Panthers traveling to the Windy City to battle the Chicago Bears. And we had 4 players in our managers' lineups. As Waddle Away had the Bears wide receiver DJ Moore in his lineup, King George had Panthers wide receiver and old man Adam Thielen in her lineup, and Mac Daddy 2's had 2 players going in his lineup as he had a pair of Bears, including newly picked up Deontay Foreman right before kickoff and the Bears defense. All right, as for other player news and practice reports. All right, we have New York Giants quarterback Daniel Jones tore his ACL last week, and he is now done for the year. Also, we have the Chargers wide receiver Josh Palmer, who missed last week's game, was placed on short-term IR right before that game, and he's going to miss a minimum of 4 weeks. But last Sunday's game counts towards those 4 weeks. Kyler Murray has been activated from the PUP list and is in line to make his first start of the season. And San Francisco wide receiver Deebo Samuel has returned to practice and is expected to make his return, while Houston running back Dameon Pierce is missing practice and expected to miss another week. Minnesota wide receiver Justin Jefferson, our number 1 overall pick, has had his return window opened, which means he is eligible to return at any time within the next 21 days, although it is looking like he may miss 1 more week as he ramps up his activity. And Cincinnati wide receiver Jamar Chase is listed as questionable for Week 10 with a bruised back, but he is vowing that he is going to get on the field. On the other hand, his teammate T. Higgins is expected to miss Week 10 with a hamstring injury, and Houston wide receiver Nico Collins missed practice on Thursday with a calf injury, and his status going into the week is questionable. Rookie standout running back Baltimore's Clayton Mitchell was added to the injury report with a hamstring injury, and he is listed as questionable for this weekend's game, while Atlanta wide receiver Drake London has returned to a full practice and looks like he may be good to return. We have a bunch of news on the Seattle Seahawks as Tyler Lockett, Jackson Smith and Jigba, and Kenneth Walker all logged in full practices on Thursday, but DK Metcalf was unable to go. So keep an eye on those guys as DK Metcalf is going to be questionable heading into the Week 10 games. Minnesota tight end TJ Hawkinson has been limited all week, but he is trending towards playing. In Indianapolis Colts, rookie wide receiver Josh Downs was unable to get back on the practice field. If you recall, he was questionable last week, and he aggravated his injury and had to leave the game early, and he has missed practice all week. So that means his Week 10 status is surely in doubt. Arizona running back James Conner had his 21-day window to return open, but as of now, he is still in the IR, but he doesn't have to be activated till Saturday evening. So he does have a good chance to play, but he is not activated quite yet. All right, guys, let's see who's playing who in this week's matchups.
This week's matchups.
All right, guys. In this week, we have our heaviest slate of division games as 4 of the 5 games are inside their divisions. Our first game, however, is not one of those games, as we have the number 1 seed at 6-3, Amazing Spidey, is playing against Katie's King George, the 3 seed, who is also 6-3. So this is a big-time battle from our two of our top teams. Also, we have Jimerson's Red Sox Nation at 5-4, taking on the 3-6 Nick Waddle away. And we have 2-7 Bernie's Team B.
I'm Cuban B. Yes, Cuban B.
Is up against 4-5 Ken's Tampa Brady. And we have Paul's Cubert Rage at 6-3, up against Alex's Dey Turk Ur Jarbs at 5-4. Also, we have Corey's Mac Daddy. This might be the biggest game of the week, as Corey's Mac Daddy 2s at 4-5 is up against Reggie's Lion Eyes, who's also 4-5. These are our 2 hottest teams, as Corey has won 3 in a row. Reggie has won 4 in a row. Both these teams are undefeated inside the even division. So this game is going to be huge, because both these teams are alive to get the top seed in the even division. Both these teams are only 2 games back. They both have Amazing Spidey ahead in their schedule, and they have the tiebreaker over Amazing Spidey. So if either of these teams win one more game than Spidey, not including the game that they have to beat Spidey in, they can get all the way up to the number 2 seed, if not even higher. All right, let's check in on our waiver wire. It was a very light week on the waiver wire, as we only had 2 waiver claims this week, and both of those NFL players received multiple bids, as Keaton Mitchell for the Baltimore Ravens went to Team B for $20, and he outbid Cubert's Rage bid of $6. And Alexander Madison went to Lion Eyes for $16, and he outbid Team B's $5 bid. All right, guys, let's check in on our power rankings.
I have the power!
By the power of Grayskull.
I'm living in it, no one man should have all that power.
Wingman Power Rankings.
I just realized that I forgot to make the visual aid for this, so we're just going to read these off. Amazing Spidey is still at the top of the power ranking ledger, while Dey Turk Ur Jarbs is in second. King George is holding steady at third. Red Sox Nation is at fourth. Cubert Rage is the 5th most powerful team, according to Yahoo. Tampa Brady is 6th. Lion Eyes is up to 7th. Mac Daddy 2s is 8th, while Team B is 9th, and Waddle Away is at the bottom of the power rankings. All right, guys, it is my pleasure to bring in our guest back to the bar. Welcome in, Mr. Alex W., a.k.a. Dey Turk Ur Jarbs. How are you doing tonight?
I'm good. Dey Turk Ur bye week.
They took our bye weeks. Yeah, you've got a lot of guys on bye. Your best players on bye. How are you going to handle all your good players sitting this week?
Well, my whole goal was to just do it all at one time. Take the loss like a man.
Okay, just rip the Band-Aid off and just take one for the team here. Okay, so I was looking over at your draft board, and I noticed that you had 2 players that you took early that were missing the first month of the season, and Cooper Kupp, who missed 4 weeks with an injury, and Alvin Kamara with a suspension. What do you think about that strategy? Did it pay off? What's your thoughts on taking guys who are missing the first month of the season?
Well, they were supposed to be fresh for the second part of the season, but Cooper Kupp looks like he got kicked in the cup.
Oh, geez. I hope he's wearing one at least. Yeah, he's had a couple bad games in a row here, which is not his style.
No, he started off hot, and now I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah, hopefully with the return of Matthew Stafford next week, he'll return to form, as well as Puka Nacua. I need them to get his game back up as well.
Yeah, that's a good guy to shout his name.
Yeah. All right. So last week you were tied. Actually, you were out of the playoff spot by 2 points, and you were tied with Tampa Brady. And you took him on head to head, and you were able to defeat him to move back into 5th place. What do you think about that matchup you had last week with Ken?
Tampa who? I thought he retired.
I think he's doing me a solid, not changing his name, so I don't have to change any graphics or anything. That was a big game. I feel a little personally responsible as I kind of sabotaged this team with the Justin Herbert trade.
Well, if you're willing to take somebody with the last name of Herbert, you're willing to take the loss.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. I don't know if you noticed or not, but with a combination of teams playing each other this week, that you have a chance to move from 5th to 2nd place this week with a win and a help from me.
Well, looking at my bye weeks, that's to be kind of difficult on my end there.
Yep. I guess regardless of what happens between me and Katie, you're going to have to get the win, and you're kind of already assuming the loss, it sounds like to me.
Yeah.
All righty here. Let's see what else we got going on. So it must be nice to every week look and see Jalen Hurts getting you 25 or more points every game. It's pretty awesome to have such a steady performer.
Oh, yeah. It was great last year, great this year. You know, every time they get near the end zone, I'm just hoping the guy falls at the 1 yard line.
Yeah, I know, right? So this year we had 3 quarterbacks taken in the 3rd round, and the order of them was Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, then Patrick Mahomes. And I'm pretty sure, I know Josh Allen is number 1, Hurts is number 2. I think Mahomes has moved to number 3. I don't know how. But so the top 3 quarterbacks are hitting their status quo mark. So it seems like that's a pretty good strategy to take those guys as early as you can.
At least for the first couple of them, yeah.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Because, Josh Allen and Hurts have been difference makers.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got all you guys on bye week, so that's a tough matchup this week. You're going against Paul's Cubert Rage, who right now is the leader in your division and one of the best teams out there. So it's going to be a tough game. Like I said, you already have bye weeks, and you're also playing against a really good team.
Yeah, this one's going to be playing tough playing Paul, or I'll say his name phonetically. It's like
Very good. All right. So I don't know if you noticed or not, but we started last week with a new segment called Mailbag. And if you don't mind, I would like to open up the mailbag with you here on the show with me. What do you say?
Sounds good to me.
All right, let's do it. 1 second. Sorry, I didn't have that queued up. There we go.
You've got mail.
Wingman Fantasy Football.
Mailbag! All right, our first message in the mailbag comes from a YouTube comment. This comes from Keith. It says, "Yo, great to see Wingman Entertainment on YouTube, and I'm looking forward to the videos and comments to come." Well, thank you, Keith. Thank you for subscribing to us on YouTube. Mr. Alex, have you noticed that we are now on the YouTube channel, and have you checked it out yet?
I did. I've only checked it out one time. Been pretty busy with the job and the woodworking at the same time, but yes, I was able to check it out and see that you're up there now.
Great. I'm more curious than anything else, just seeing where people are seeing the content, not really trying to push it or anything. Our next one here is from Bernie. This is also a YouTube comment. This says, "Nice work on the Trade Watch intro." What do you think about the expanded graphics for our segments this year, Alex?
I think they're getting better. They're improving a lot, and I can't wait to see the $100,000 production in a couple of years.
Yeah, there you go. All right. This one was a direct message from Corey, and it says, "Hey, Mike, am I required to play a player in every position?" Now, this is in relation to last week. He had a kicker on bye, and instead of putting in his backup, he wanted to know if it was legal to keep a 0 on his bench by choice. I think that's a bold strategy.
Cotton.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Well, I mean, if you're not looking for overall points or not looking for any point tiebreakers, then I guess there's no harm, no foul.
I guess I'm going to expand on that. So I have a question for you out of this then. If you had your kicker and your defense both on bye and you really like the guys, if you didn't need them to win, would you drop a player that you like to get points, or would you just take the 0 if you knew the outcome didn't matter?
Oh, I would definitely just take the 0 because if you drop them, they're pretty much gone.
Okay, that's what I was. I think that's a fair at least thing to think about before you make that decision. All right, this one's actually addressed to you, Alex. I don't know how our listeners knew you were going to be on tonight, but they did. And this one comes from Mike, and it says, "What are your thoughts on the Tush Push? Great play or should be outlawed?"
Great play, great play. In any situation, if you have any team, any player, or multiple players that are willing to get up in there like that, just let it ride.
Do you think they should have wet wipes or something so they can wash their hands right after the play?
Yeah, I think they're. It's a very delicate play. You can't be too forceful.
So they usually have the the water girls come out. They should have them like with sanitizers and towels after the Tush Push.
The little glove.
All right, Alex. Well, I want to thank you so much for joining us tonight and helping me with the mailbag. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, my man. We will check you next time. Thank you, sir.
Sounds good. See you.
All right. I would like to offer a huge thank you to Mr. Alex, a.k.a. Dey Turk Ur Jarbs. And I would also like to thank all of you for watching and or listening to another episode of Wingman Fantasy Football, the League Podcast. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn Radio, and now we're on Google Podcasts. And of course, you can find all of our content on wingmanentertainment.net. Also, if you want to find us on YouTube, our YouTube channel is youtube.com/@Wingman Fantasy Football. So please subscribe to that channel so you get the newest uploads. Also, you can leave your comments there on YouTube or wingmanentertainment.net, and your comments will be read on our next mailbag segment. With that all being said, guys, until we meet again, may your glasses be full, your mugs stay frosty, and we will see you next time.